Are you familiar with TikTok?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thoughts on TikTok, real quick.
It's kind of taken over the world a little bit. So I have made TikToks.
Yeah.
The most viewed piece of content I've ever made is a TikTok. But
How many views?
35 million views.
Jeez.
The thing about tech is it's not like universal enough to get like 100, 200 million views. But that's still a lot of views for a piece of tech.
Yeah.
You know? And it was an LG phone. Like, that's crazy. But that's TikTok's algorithm at work, is it's willing to surface things and show people things that just to try it, just to see if they're interested. And if it hooks, it hooks. But they are behind on the monetization and the creature comforts that YouTube has been so good at for so long.
Yeah.
And so YouTube is going to let us monetize shorts now next year. They're showing shorts to people all the time.
Yeah.
They've kind of started to set the bait for full-time TikTokers to become YouTubers.
And why wouldn't they? There's way more money on YouTube.
Exactly.
I think shorts in the long run beats out on TikTok. I think TikTok becomes redundant.
So I think they can exist at the same time until one of them becomes less cool.
Yeah.
Because right now, you open your phone, you open up TikTok, and you just know what to expect when you land there. YouTube is like this app with a bunch of stuff and shorts. So if you're in the shorts experience, I think people just instinctively launch TikTok because that's what they want.
Yeah.
But yes, it is really easy to just drop right into shorts and see all the same type of stuff and get the same dopamine hit and the same endless scrolling.
Yeah.
And I think that's
TikTok
great
sounds
for YouTube.
better too. Like language plays a part in this a little bit. Like let's watch. It was like Uber sounds better than Lyft, right? And like let's make some TikTok. Let's watch some TikTok. Let's make some shorts. Like what do you?
Reels
Reels
halfway.
better than shorts probably.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
like short, I don't love the name of it. You know. That being said, I think that YouTube is where everybody goes. I mean, that's our big bet. It was your bet. You know, it's like where everybody's going for not only content but also information. So while you're already there, you get that dopamine hit from these TikToks.
Yep. Do you feel pressure because I always ask creators about this. You make longer videos than I make. I mean,
Podcasts
think of a special. Think of the longest, the most creative stuff you do. Do you feel pressure because of how popular short form stuff is to either adapt or like cut down stuff for shorts or try shorts or any of that?
I love it because it allows me to repurpose content.
Interesting.
So if I have a 5-minute joke that can be 2 or 3 1-minute TikToks
Clips.
or reels or clips, now I'm getting to use every part of the buffalo.
Yeah.
You know, so
Interesting.
for me, it's great. And it's also like, I think our whole strategy was I can hook you with a minute. I'm not hooking you with an hour.
Right.
Like everybody will give you 60 seconds of their time.
Yeah.
They might not give you an hour. So if I get 3 60 seconds of your time, maybe you'll tap into the hour.
That's fair.
So I use it as like a feeder system.
It's like the top of the funnel. If they like enough shorts, they'll watch longer stuff.
Exactly.
But there was even a time for you where you would make short, like you would have like short interactions and they would be too short to be like a 5-minute YouTube video.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, we just can't put it out. It's not long enough.
Yeah.
Like that was recent history.
Yeah.
90 seconds, it would be a very funny thing, but it's like, well, nobody's watching a 90-second.
Right.
Yeah, we noticed that like the sweet spot for the videos, if we were putting out like a joke, was like between like 3 and 6 minutes or something like that.
At the time, yeah.
At the time, right? So when we put out something that was maybe like 47 seconds, diminishing returns. But then when we were able to throw that shit up on Instagram or now Shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. We had a lot of, I make like, the average length of my videos has gone up, but it was like a 5-minute video, and now it's like a 9, 10, 11, 12-minute video.
Yeah.
And I have lots of ideas where I'm like, I have thoughts on it, but it's not a 5-minute video.
Yeah.
It's just it's not enough for a video.
But I've watched a few of your shorts. I really like your shorts.
Those are some of the ideas that we've gone, you know what? This is 60 seconds.
Yep.
And then we can turn it into a thing that maybe is the top of the funnel. And it's similar enough to the longer videos that it can maybe convert. Still working on that. YouTube's still working on that. But I think that's another advantage over TikTok, where if you do other stuff, it works.
Whenever I have a guest on and I'm starting to get into, trying to understand like who they are so we can have this conversation. A podcast, listening to you on a podcast is going to be the most fruitful for me.
Sure.
Because it's hard to pretend for a long period of time. Like everybody can do 60 seconds where they're like on script and they get out this version of themselves that they wish that they were.
Yeah.
But an hour, 2 hours, you get the real sense of like who that person is.
Yep.
So that's like where I get sense of person. But I'm always looking at myself like, what am I going to first for a guest? And the first few videos I watched of yours were shorts. And those naturally took me into watching your long videos, or longer videos. I watched a few like reviews, but that wasn't my intention. I was gonna watch you on a pod, and the shorts popped up, and then because of the shorts, I watched a longer video.
That's the ideal. That's exactly what YouTube tells us they're going to have happen more often, and I'm hoping it does.
It tricked me, and I know that's the strategy.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't YouTube, like, I agree that TikTok's benefit is that it's the second you open the app, you're getting fed content, whereas with YouTube, you're getting fed choices, and choices are paralyzing.
Yeah.
So I wonder if YouTube could optimize the UI so that as soon as you open it, depending on your consumption preference, it
Starting to
shows
see
you
it.
a short,
Yep.
or it shows you a long form MKBHD video.
But they have started to do that. If you notice, like in the feed, they'll start
Exactly.
playing the video if you sit on it long
But the
enough.
second you open it,
Okay, the second you open the app right now, I think they're probably doing this now, is they have like 1 or 2 long form thumbnails at the top, and then they'll peek a little shorts tab right above that. And if you get right into that short,
it's over.
You're in. I don't think they can open with the shorts because YouTube's library is still mostly long form stuff, and that's the bread and butter of YouTube. But they are sneaking shorts in there. It's in the recommended a little bit.
Yep.
It's on the homepage, like half a scroll down.
yeah.
So they're integrating it, but I don't know if they'll fully
I
dive.
think you get shorts because you actually watch shorts more.
Yeah.
And that's why you
Yeah.
probably got shorts of his first, because I've never got recommended a short.
Yeah,
of it.
I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of shorts.
Yeah, I was just scrolling through and maybe they started to pop up. But the reason why I asked you about TikTok is because I went on a rant on Brilliant Idiots, a show I do with Charlamagne the God,
Yeah.
and about how dangerous it was to have like another country's tech influencing us, right? And like basically the idea was you have another country that can gear the algorithm to reward whatever behavior they want, and they could reward behavior that might not be beneficial to the next generation of Americans or whatever other country. And that's why it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And then I said that in China, the algorithm is different. It rewards not dumb dancing, but it rewards, engineering goals and all these other things. Now, this got picked up by politicians running for office.
Yeah.
It got picked up by State Department people. It got picked up by all these. I have to tell you something. I made this up.
Yeah.
I just wanted
no.
to come clean to everybody. I made that up completely. I have no proof whatsoever. It just sounded good and I was passionate. And the show is called Brilliant Idiots.
And it sounds like something
left
they
that
would
out.
do.
They left that out.
Yeah, they definitely cut that.
Yeah.
But I remember people sending me stuff of a literal politician going, "This is how the algorithm works in China. This is how it works in America." And I was like, "Oh boy, I got to be careful."
Yeah.
Is there any truth to my absolute bullshit?
Okay, so
there is.
I think what you're observing is true, but the algorithm, I would step back because the algorithm from any/all of these companies, I would always assume to be geared to either make them as much money as possible or maximize your time on the site, happiness on the site, which inevitably keeps you coming back and makes them more money. It's always to keep you on their site.
One point of pushback potentially, China is everything serves the government. It's not about capitalistic making as much money as possible.
Yeah.
And they also restrict the access to most of the other internet. So if this is the internet I have, why don't we just funnel them the thing that's going to make the best Chinese citizens?
Yes. I think if you even though look at like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, what they want is you on the site for a long time scrolling, engaging with a lot of stuff. And I think even with ByteDance, when they make their algorithm as good as possible, it's so good because it keeps you engaged. It keeps you on
ByteDance
the
is
site.
the company that owns
TikTok.
right?
And so I think in different places where people have different behaviors, that algorithm feeds them different things because they are responding and engaging with different things. So if those cheesy dances get engagement in the US, then it'll keep serving them more of that. If it doesn't get engagement somewhere else, it's not like they decided, I don't want you to see these dances. No, they'll show you the dances if you click on them, but they're not engaging with them as much, and it's whatever they engage with is amplified.
Now, what if getting a reaction and a positive reaction becomes part of our culture? So seeking that validation of views is more important than the thing you're doing to get the views,
It's very real.
right? So if that's the case, won't people do whatever that is to do it? And can't you manipulate them based on feeding them, I don't want to say fake views, but making sure that the TikTok is in the search way more than it needs to be?
Yeah, it is a theoretical thing that they could do, right? Like if they decided one day that their ultimate goal was to ruin some election as a company for whatever reason, they could, at the expense of the rest of their engagement, decide to feed certain people certain things. But I think still, like most of these companies, when they're optimizing, trying to make the best product, they're competitive. They're trying to beat the other companies that they're
That's true.
their
If
other
your app
products.
is boring, they're going to get off.
Exactly. If you start showing them a bunch of stuff they're not as interested in, or if the algorithm is ruined, and I was seeing all these videos I liked, and then suddenly it changed one day, but the others still seem pretty good. Like all this stuff also factors in, and I think that's what they care about the most. I think they want to be the best.
Okay, so let's assume they do want to be the best, and they are incredibly competitive, and there is competition out there. It's like I could go on Instagram, I could go on TikTok, I can go on Shorts. You have to give me what I want. Ultimately, you have to meet me there. All right. Is there danger though in not being able to curate the algorithm? Like, I'm wondering if they've seen what's happened in America and China, right? You see how powerful these tech corporations have gotten, and they go, we're not about to let that happen in China. That's why Jack Ma disappears for a month. You know what I mean? Like, if they're seeing the power and influence of American tech companies, and how like they have to be integrated in the government, but almost like the government's like, please Google, please Facebook, right? Like,
I think there is naturally, and there's also like what you were saying before about like creators seeing what the algorithm is rewarding and then making content specifically to be picked up by the algorithm rather than just like being creative, and if it works, it works. I think everyone, and maybe even like in long form stuff, this still applies. Like what Jimmy's doing with like retention and like, okay, what does the algorithm reward? I will create my craft around maximizing those analytics. Like you can do that with Shorts, and that changes what shows up on the platform. So that is real. That is a real valid danger. And you kind of just have to like watch it play out and turn the knobs behind the scenes. I don't know that there's anything we can do, like as a few people.
Isn't that, as people, no, but I understand why there's like concern from government.
Yeah.
I understand at least, let's say it's not happening and there's nothing nefarious about it and it's purely like capitalist competition. That's fine. But I do understand why someone in government is like, yo, hold on. You're saying they can influence what our kids do? We're the only ones supposed to do that. Because please believe America's doing that everywhere else, I would imagine. Right?
Trying to, yeah. No, that's real.
What about like TikTok as a spyware tool? Like being able to look at other apps and like other things that you're doing on your phone as a way to monitor citizens and things like that.
So they're not supposed to be able to do anything outside of the walls of their app. They will have you make an account, and maybe if you log into that account in a browser, there's a cookie that can follow you and all this stuff. But like, as far as what putting that app on your phone can actually give that company, it's not supposed to be very much. And companies like Apple, Google, Samsung that are in charge of like the security settings on your device are supposed to have your best interest in mind and make sure you can't be tracked by apps that didn't ask to.
Right.
So
You're saying supposed to a lot.
Theoretically. It's because like I can't see what they're doing behind the scenes, and inevitably there are bad actors and some companies just throw it all out the window and do terrible things.
Got it.
But theoretically, yeah, they're supposed to have those barriers in place, and they're supposed to do it right.